there's going to be a, I guess, consequences for 2-3 generations of fatherless homes. And ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at it. From the Los Angeles Times, hashtag living while black. New laws could outlaw racially motivated 911 calls, by Jaweed Kaleem. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This really feels like it's a matter of moving the goalpost. Before, it was, oh man, black men are being killed by police. Now, and the deal is that with all these 911 calls that they're about to get into, the police were fine. The police were cool. So it's like, okay, now we got to move the goalpost. Oh, how dare you call police on us? Stop it. Just stop this nonsense. The hashtag Living While Black went viral on social media in the last 2 years as videos proliferated of incidents around the nation in which white people called police on black people going about their everyday activities. The most well-publicized episodes came last year, including 2 black men confronted by Philadelphia police after asking to use a Starbucks bathroom without first having made a purchase. Really quickly, they were in the wrong. If you go into a business, expect to spend a couple dollars in order for them to accommodate you, because it is a business and there are such things as business transactions. Yet you have all these people caping up for these 2 dudes that honestly, like, bruh, it's one of those things that just kind of blew my mind. Like, this was a really big story and I was just wondering why, because that's just a courtesy. Like, you are supposed to be courteous and do things that, go along and go about civil society. Yet, they want to do the complete opposite and then pretend to be victims. A black Yale graduate student questioned by cops for napping in a dorm common room, and a black man in Oakland whose wife filmed his encounter with a woman who dialed 911 to say he was illegally barbecuing in the park. I remember that one, and all of Oakland popped up, and they had like barbecues for days. It was actually pretty funny. I like that response to it. I enjoyed that response to it. It was like, yeah, there you go. She want to sit there and wild out. Cool. And like I said earlier, the police that were called in each of these instances were cool. They were like, I bet they did their jobs. So now, because, we wanted to get them shot, but they're not getting shot now. So now we got to complain about the phone calls. Like, come on, man, stop it. A lesser known one took place in 2017 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. On a June afternoon, when squad cars showed up at a public park during a graduation party, the event was permitted. The attendees were mostly black, and they said a noise complaint against them was really about white residents who were uncomfortable with a large gathering of black people. That instance, and another last September in which police handcuffed 2 unarmed black 11-year-old brothers after a phone call reported a teen with a gun, added to complaints about race and 9/11 calls, as well as policing in Western Michigan. I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to be very real with y'all. I'm black, and I am very leery of large groups of black people, okay? I mean, it is. Actually, I'm leery of large groups of people no matter what, but like, I see a bunch of rowdy Negroes around me. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm okay. Let's cross the street. It's all right. Now, the city of 200,000 could be amongst the first in the country to make such calls illegal. A proposed ordinance would make it a criminal misdemeanor to racially profile people of color for participating in their lives and subject people behind those 9/11 calls to a $500 fine. Are you kidding? Of course not, because we live in woke era, and I'm telling you, this is in Michigan, right? Michigan is blue. I think Michigan might have gone for Trump, but I recall Michigan being a pretty solid blue state, man. And so it's this urge to make everybody a victim, and it has to stop. We have to stop saying, oh my goodness, you're a victim. Nah, it don't work like that. A policy like this makes it so people have to think about whether their decision to call 911 is grounded in something significant, said Sanita Lanier, a Grand Rapids city commissioner who is the first black person in her position, because of course she is. Our resources can't be wasted on police addressing non-issues. You can't ignore that people of color are the ones who have been victimized. Victimized. That is part of a pattern. And you know what else is part of a pattern? Having kids grow up in homes without fathers, thusly having absolutely no clue how to interact with authority. And then when things go nuts, go crazy, oh my goodness, how could this have ever been stopped? It could have been stopped if you raised your kid properly. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it really is the simplest thing in the world. But somehow in the Black American community, it's just, oh no, I'm always a victim. There's something wrong with, there's nothing I could have done to avoided this, or anything I could have done. No. It's about these mean white people that just want to hurt me. And honestly, no, I'm not buying it. I'm not at all. Simply because the one thing I know about the Black community is that we're the ones that hurt each other more than anybody else. And I like I said, I don't like that whole black on black crime thing, but truth is the truth. If we want to sit here and fix if you want to fix it with the white people that are scared of you and everything else like that, fix at home, fix the kids, give the kids the households and the upbringings that they deserve. And guess what? These problems go away. I genuinely believe that 95% of the problems, like at least the domestic problems that we have, in particular when it comes to race relations and things like that, I believe they start at home. The debate in Grand Rapids joins efforts to either outlaw or discourage similar calls introduced by elected officials in Oregon and New York, and which activists have pushed for elsewhere. Of course they have, because, oh my goodness, we're victims. In Oregon, Democratic State Rep. Janelle Bynum was going door to door in her district outside Portland to speak with constituents in July when a resident called police on her because she looked suspicious. Now, Bynum is backing a bill that would allow victims of racially biased 9/11 calls about non-crimes to sue the callers in small claims court for up to $250. Okay, so quick aside about me, I've been a canvasser. I've had cops called on me, and you know what happens when those cops get called on me? Hey, how's it going, officer? What's going on? Nah, I'm just canvassing for this thing that I'm doing. We got the permits. Okay, it's all good. Keep it moving. And I've had like the neighbors, I've had people give me money at doors because their neighbors was just being completely reckless. And that's one of the reasons why I'm like, you know what? No, this isn't an everybody thing. And if people feel threatened or anything else like that, let them call the cops. Like, if you're not doing anything, you have nothing to hide. I know it's not always the case, but there's a large part of it that goes into the presentation as well. If you're calm, if you're cool, if you're collected, I can guarantee you, like, I want to say 8, 8.5 times out of 10, the cops will be all right. The cops will be cool. They will not sit there and spaz on you. You will not get shot as long as you sit there and respect their authority. And this is coming from someone who's an outlaw. I mean, I sold drugs a long time, guys, okay? So it's not like, oh my goodness, all I want to do is bend the knee. No. But there is a level of respect that you have to be willing to show the officers, as well as, the community you're in, or just basically people in general. I thought my incident was isolated and odd, but as time went on, I realized no, it's not, said Bynum, who is Black naturally. My goal has always been to spark a conversation on issues, especially in Oregon, where people don't have great understanding of civil rights history. Now, whose fault is that? That's the school's fault, man. These, honestly, American schools are trash, particularly the public ones. But I really do have a problem. I feel like this is a conflict of interest to some degree, because she's like, oh my goodness, I'm so butthurt. I was victimized by somebody's 9/11 call. Cops came up. You didn't die. You're fine. Go about your day. Continue about your business. It really feels like taking a temporary problem and taking a temporary issue and making it a permanent problem. Because, oh my goodness, we want to scare people out of calling 911. Nah, I'm just not into that idea. Because if someone feels scared, if someone feels threatened, if someone feels intimidated, then they have the right to reach out for help. Because that's what 911 is there to do. The police is there to come through and find out what's going on. And as with the state rep Bynum here, nothing's going on, then they'll just let you. 8.5 times out of 10, they let you about your business. So Like I said, moving goalposts. Biden's proposal recently passed the state house and the Senate committee. In Grand Rapids, the proposed ordinance has received a mix of support and criticism at city commission meetings. Other attempts to enact such laws, including measures proposed last year by state legislators in New York and Michigan, have failed because people need to be able to call police. Jesus. Opponents of each have raised similar concerns. One is that making false crime reports is already illegal in many parts of the U.S. Boom. Also, another is that although it's relatively easy for police to show up at a scene to determine there's no crime, it's hard to decide whether the 911 caller was acting in a racist manner in making a report. There you go. Because guess what? I mean, it could be the most racist thing in the world. They could be sitting there saying, "Yeah, I can't stand those Negroes, man. So let me go call the police on them. Hopefully they get shot, But what they'll say is, "Oh, well, I was threatened," And there's no way you can crack open their head and find out what the motivating factor was. Ronald Serpis, a criminal justice professor at Loyola University, New Orleans, questioned whether the potential laws would discourage people from calling police when there are real crimes. Boom. We don't want to thwart people from calling when they think there is something suspicious in their neighborhood. But we don't want it to be a racial proxy. We can do both. Whether we need new laws, I don't know. We don't. We really don't. In Grand Rapids, the proposal is part of a larger human rights ordinance that has been under debate since early this year. A vote scheduled this month was pushed back to allow more community input and because of questions over how such a law would work in practice. Executive Director of the Grand Rapids Community Development Nonprofit Link Up has attended commission meetings to show his support. Police can charge a person for filing a false report, but this puts more power in the hands of the person who has police calls on film, said Drew. One city resident who only gave his first name, Joshua, showed up at a commission meeting last month to voice opposition. It is good that we as a community value leaving people alone and letting them live their lives without fear of discrimination. But we already have laws saying it's illegal to discriminate based on their class, and to create additional redundant legislation does nothing. Joshua Madu. Juanita Lagon, the mother of the twin boys who were handcuffed last year in Grand Rapids on the false suspicion that one of them was carrying a gun, disagreed. Naturally, because she's the mother of the two boys who were handcuffed last year in Grand Rapids. There are too many people calling police on people in the community who are just going about their business like they did with my sons, Lagon said. My only concern is that police could use this ordinance to blame any wrong things they do to the community on people who make 911 calls. In a statement, the city's interim police chief, David Kettle, declined to take a position. I look forward to the community and stakeholders having the opportunity to weigh in and discuss the proposed ordinance, and I look forward to working with the city as it moves forward, he said. That is Julie Clean, and that is the article. And as I have said, let's just do a quick recap. Deal is that you're not a victim, and if you are, you're not a victim. It's just not arbitrarily like this. And making these type of victimization laws, they do nothing. They do not solve the problems. They do not fix the homes. They do not create any kind of environment really worth living in, because then you got people who are scared to call 911. And then, and you know what'll happen? Yeah, they're going to get killed. Somebody's going to end up getting murdered. Why? Because they were scared to call 911 out of fear of being called a bigot. And boom, there you go. And they should have been concerned that entire time, because here come Big Leroy ready to come knock them upside their head and take their stuff. So really, this is just, like I say all the time, man, like the problems in these communities can be fixed with some home training. That's it. Like, that's the only thing that can really fix it, because, once that kid is 12, 13 years old and out the door, it's too late. But y'all ain't trying to hear me though. Anyways, that's it. Like if you liked it, dislike, I ain't scared. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice. Share, because sharing is caring. And speak, let me know. I mean, do you think this hashtag living while black nonsense really deserves the type of like push and legislation initiatives that they're really trying to put on it? That's what the comments are for. Until the next one.